My name is Lexi McDevitt, and this is my partner Ramsha Sohail. Today we're going to talk about plant communication. Did you know that plants can talk to each other? We don't typically think of plants as something that are capable of communicating, but it's true. The majority of plants in the world are connected to one another through vast fungal networks that span thousands upon thousands of acres. Based on its size and efficiency at transporting information, some scientists like to call this connection the Wood Wide Web. Both fungi and plants work together in a symbiotic relationship commonly known as mycorrhizae. This is made up of thread-like structures from the fungi known as mycelium, which expand into the soil and invade a host plant's root system. The majority of nutrients that come from the soil are absorbed by the fungi's mycelium and transported into the plant's roots. This increase in uptake of both water and nutrients allows the plant to more efficiently photosynthesize, getting it the energy it needs to survive. As a result, some of the glucose that is produced from photosynthesis is given back to the fungi. In a well-functioning network, mycorrhizal connections can connect many plants to each other. This connection allows for a type of communication between the plants. As for example, if one made more sugar than they require, that plant can share it with some of the other ones that are connected in the root fungal network. Now, having heard the word invade, you might think that the fungi are still just leeching off of the plants, but there's a reason why we use this term. Plants have many defense mechanisms in place to help them survive in a world full of harmful microbes, herbivores, and more. Some of these defenses are much more obvious to us, like the thorns on a cactus. However, many occur inside the plant at a cellular level. One example of this would be secondary metabolites, which discourage herbivorous behavior by making the plant taste bitter or making it toxic if ingested. So, if plants have such complex defense systems, how is it that completely foreign fungi have been able to become such an integral part of a plant's survival? New evidence suggests that fungi and certain microbes actually evolved alongside plants, which has helped them in overcoming and infiltrating the plant's natural defense systems in order to form a symbiotic relationship with them. Plants are not entirely impenetrable in the first place, and have selectively accepted microbial colonization through metabolic signals. The fungi will cross over the protective layers of the plant endodermis, where they are then able to enter the plant's tissues after being responded to by the immune system's MAMPs, which are microbe-associated molecular patterns. The fungi are then able to survive as endophytes, meaning they live between the living plant cells. From here on out, they provide a great service to the host plants and are crucial for their overall health and survival. The mycorrhizae begin to stimulate a second layer of plant immunity, as well as stimulating stress-tolerant growth and limiting water loss. Now that we've addressed that, let's talk about some of the ways that mycorrhizae can help out plants and allow them to communicate with each other. Plant and fungi communication can either be symplastic or apoplastic, meaning it either transports signals using the plasmodesmata or it uses endo or ectocytosis respectively. These signals can be used for any number of things, whether it be protecting the plant itself or even behaving altruistically. For example, if one tree in a forest becomes infested with harmful insects, it can warn the other trees that are connected to it through the mycorrhizae so that they can begin producing chemicals to deter the insects. Obviously, when most, if not all of the plants in an ecosystem are connected to one another, this kind of communication is vital for the survival of the entire forest. These messages aren't just used for signaling to other plants when to be on guard, though. It's also been observed that older, mature trees will often help out the younger and smaller ones. In large forests, immature trees that are still growing may not be able to get an adequate amount of sunlight due to the canopy overhead. With the mycorrhizae connection, though, the larger trees who do receive enough sunlight can give some of their carbon to the trees that are lacking in it. This symbiotic relationship has even been researched for the purposes of human agriculture, since it has the potential to strengthen the root biome of our crops, as well as making them less susceptible to disease and more tolerant to a rapidly changing climate. The fact that plants will help one another through this kind of communication is certainly a plus as well. So, our question to you is this: why might it be beneficial for larger mature plants to give up their own nutrients to the smaller juvenile ones? What benefit would this have for the mycorrhizae? Regardless of the answer, it doesn't take much to appreciate the true complexity of both plants and fungi. Next time you're out in nature, take a minute to look around and think about how you're not just taking a stroll in the forest, you're walking through a vast connection of the wood wide web.